Welcome back to Transits Friday. So we're going to have a look at what's happening astrologically from today, the 9th of August, until next week. So 7 days ahead, that'll be the 16th, I believe. I'm not too bad with maths, which usually I am. Okay, so I was going to do an extra video this week about Saturn-Jupiter square. My master classes started again, which is super cool, super exciting, but I'm still dealing with a lot of family stuff as well, and like emotions and things like that. And I didn't manage. But that's okay, because I'm going to talk about that Saturn-Jupiter square a little bit today, because we're kind of heading towards the direction anyways. So the energy is already in the air. And reminding you that this is a constructive astrology approach channel. So we're really looking at astrological placements from the perspective of what can we do with it that will enhance our lives, that will make our lives more enjoyable, more empowering, etc. So it's really all about personal empowerment and brainstorming possibilities rather than, closing down doors and really stifling the interpretations. So let me share my screen with you. By the way, I'm Fernanda Paiva, Hitchhiking Stars. I don't know if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been coming here, you already know. You already know me. So personal catch-up moment. How have you been doing? How was this week? How was the new moon as well for you? I'm definitely managing to carve up some time for rest, which is something that I've been really, really longing for, really needing, more than longing. I think that's a huge need. And honestly, big, big love to all the highly sensitive people out there as well, and the empaths, and how do you navigate all of this? Like, um, feeling emotions in a very big way can sometimes be very taxing as well, and is challenging in the sense that we're not always understood as well. It's like, calling you dramatic or over dramatic or overreactive, or things like that, when honestly what's happening is like a um genuine ability to feel things. Honestly, it's like you just feel things a little bit more intensely. So this has been happening this week. I definitely love teaching, and I had um a wonderful group, wonderful participation as well, and that always is very uplifting for me. So that was very uplifting, very nice. But, once you get more exposed in social media as well, you also get exposed to people that you wouldn't necessarily want to have anything to do with, just a bit like, to say the least, and so, yeah, I had people being, a little bit insensitive, I would say. And I found that very upsetting this week as well. Anyways, I don't want to be moaning or anything like that. And um but it's just, as a matter of looking into the week and thinking about what's happening and where you're at, and, how did these planetary movements manifested over this week. And it's very interesting because the new moon Leo that's happened on Sunday, I believe, that was very close to my midheaven. So I've been having to rethink, um which was great for Mercury going retrograde as well this week, but having to rethink a lot of strategies, ideas. Where do I want to go with, my work? And honestly, I think what the question of this week as well has been a lot about values and core values. I think our work, our presence in the world needs to be aligned with our core values, and that needs to be really clear stated as well, so we are also attracting the right clients to us, and vice versa. So yeah, this week has been a lot about kindness, a lot about kindness. It's one of my top values. I know I talk a lot about authenticity, and that's definitely something that was really important in my first layer of getting exposed and coming out into the world, and creating a channel, expressing myself, expressing my perspective on astrology, on tarot, etc. And I still feel that one of my core values is definitely authenticity, but now there's another layer emerging, which is kindness. I can't stand people being unkind for, just for no reason. I understand we all go through problems and we all go through hardships, and this might sometimes be acted out and, you know, as unkindness towards other people, but it's definitely not my, um, definitely not my style. I'm really, yeah, I think, I think it was Robin Williams, isn't it, who said, people are fighting battles that we have no idea. Like, be kind always. You don't know what's going on people's lives. So give them the benefit of doubt and practice kindness, The world will be a better place. Anyhow, and also in my week catch up and my last few um challenging weeks, this is the chart for today, so 9th of August. Also, please feel free, write in the comments, let me know how you're doing, be real there as well. I love connection. I'm a connector. I love reading the comments. I love getting to know you as well. And, building a community is very important to me. So back to the astrology, back to Transits Fridays. So what we're having, obviously it's been going on for a couple of days already, is Mercury going retrograde. So we are in that period. I want to know if you've got any interesting Mercury retrograde stories for this week as well. I definitely have noticed Mercury going retrograde with my Facebook community groups for my masterclasses, because comments are just being removed out of nowhere. Like, I haven't been removing people's comments, and my own comments have been removed. And I really feel that's definitely a bit of a glitch slash Mercury going retrograde kind of, situation. So how is that going for you? What's going on? And what house is that Mercury going retrograde as well? Because that's going to give you a clue which area can you rethink, reassess, etc. Do all of those wonderful potentials when Mercury is going retrograde. Now, for this week, as I've mentioned, so we're sort of like heading towards the full moon. We're not near the full moon yet, but there's that sense of growth that the moon is reflecting during this week. And one of the main transits as well that we have is Mars coming to conjoin that Jupiter as well. So this is Sunday. We've got moon in Scorpio. We've got that Mercury going further back in Virgo. But mostly is next week, the inter aspects that I really want to talk about, the placements that I really want to talk about is Saturn. So we've got Saturn at 17 Pisces, Jupiter at 16 Gemini. So they're coming to form a 90 degrees to each other, a square. And this is a big deal because this is the first obstacle that we're facing, the first conflict that we're facing after the intentions that we set back in December 2020. So December 2020, we had Saturn-Jupiter conjunction at 0 degrees Aquarius. And this is the sort of, okay, what action do we need to take in relation to the what was going on in December 2020, basically? What new beginnings did we start, or did we put intentions for, including where was that Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in your chart? So where was it? Saturn-Jupiter in Aquarius at 0 degrees is also where Pluto is at the moment. So Pluto is traveling that degree. And it was on my 3rd house. So it fell in my 3rd house. And I did a workshop at a time about the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction with a colleague, Gillian Crawford, and it was great. And it was a lot about bringing visions to reality, because we've got Jupiter as visions, visionaries, seeing the bigger picture, being optimistic, seeing the glass half full. and Saturn as the, manifester, as the working hard, bringing to reality, making it real, etc. So when they two came together in December 2020, it gave us an opportunity for a whole new cycle of manifestation. And so as they come closer and closer to a square now, there is a question here of what are the obstacles around these new intentions that we set back in 2020, difficulties that we might be facing, things that we might need to adjust as well, that we didn't think or we didn't realize. So for me, for instance, that was a Saturn-Jupiter in the third house of communication. And I did set intentions for clearer communication, for teaching more, for sharing my message with the world more. And now we're coming close to that Jupiter Saturn square, and I'm kind of rethinking my values. Am I actually expressing my values clear enough through the message or through the people? Am I attracting the right people to share my message with? And if not, how can I improve that? How can I change that? How can I make myself more clear about these values and about what's important and where I'm coming from as well? There's nothing wrong with different perspectives and different ways, but maybe you're not the right person to be following me or to be coming to my courses as well. If we're not aligned, if we don't share these values, we're not really going to be able to work very well together, right? You're expecting something else from me. And so, this is just a little digression, but showing you what work can we be doing this week with Jupiter coming to square that Saturn. The first thing I would do if I were you is find out where is 0 degrees Aquarius in your birth chart. Where is that? Where is Pluto traveling now? Because this is square. It's telling you something, is a development of something that's happened around the end of 2020, like I've shared. So this is one of the best things about astrology, is that we can connect the dots, we can look at processes, um we can look at the cycles and align ourselves to these cycles as much as we can, so we don't swim against the current, so we don't um overextend ourselves too much or stress too much about these things unnecessarily. Sometimes it's like I got this lovely email from the witches of Instagram, or the witches circle. I work with them as well. And anyhow, I got an email from them, which was really lovely. And it was all about the movement of the moon as well, and how the moon can be a wonderful way to align ourselves with the natural cycles of energies. And I agree. There's something about knowing and following and looking up to the sky to understand the needs down here, and not only to understand but to respect these needs, and to have a more cyclic life as well, to have a more cyclic existence. We don't need to feel the same all the time, we don't need to be overly productive all the time, and etc. So that's a wonderful way to think about this Jupiter Saturn cycle. Are we being overly optimistic? Are we being overly pessimistic? Where are we not balancing these two principles, right? And obviously, then we've got the Pisces and the Gemini is square as well. And for me, that square is: do I believe? What are my beliefs? What are my feelings, my emotions about this? And what is my rational, my reasoning, my intellectual side thinking about this? Um, is a bit of a battle between the rational and the emotional, intuitive side as well. And how can we bring this together? How can we find how can I find an agreement between them? And honestly, I'm gonna add something here. I'm gonna add the midpoint of Jupiter and Saturn, because that's gonna be very interesting to check. So we've got Jupiter Saturn midpoint as 2 degrees Taurus. I mean, as we get to the exact square, Opa, we do have it pretty exact here. That's gonna be next week on the 19th. But here's the midpoint is 2 degrees Taurus. So there's something about um the energy of Taurus, which can be a place where we can find the middle ground between these planets, between the square. So a way that we can get Pisces and Gemini to hold hands and to say, okay, I'm willing to go as far as this, is that midpoint in Taurus here, the early degrees of Taurus. And for me, again, is pure Taurian energy, is got to do with standing by our values, standing by our values, working on our sense of self-worth as well, and working to create stability, reliability. The positive qualities of Taurus here can be really helpful to bring that Saturn in Pisces, Jupiter in Gemini square together, to integrate these two energies. This is why I love working with midpoints. I really do. They are the bridge, potentially midpoints that can be the bridge between the conflicts and the splits that we have inside us or in the energies in the sky as well. So this is Sunday. Now, what I really want to talk about, Tuesday the 13th, we've got Mars kind of stepping into that square with Saturn and Jupiter. There might be a tendency to want to take big actions or put big ideas into practice, or big reactions as well, or anything like that. Because of the square with Saturn, I'd say that will be delays, there will be slowness in the process. We want to go fast with that Mars, Jupiter, and Gemini, but that square to Saturn is really delaying things. And so remember, the midpoint there is Taurus. It is about slowing down a little bit and being patient with that energy as well. I think Mars, Jupiter, and Gemini conjunction like this could be a wonderful time for journaling. Mercury, which is the ruler of that conjunction, is in Virgo, but in retrograde as well. So rethinking, reassessing, writing it down, jot it down, all of these ideas that you're having now, all of the actions that you feel would be great to be taking, to manifest your ideas, to search for that knowledge, or to ask those questions, or, etc. But write them down and see how it feels later, especially when Mercury goes direct in a few weeks. But that's an important energy that we're gonna get in tune, or that we're gonna get in touch with this week on Tuesday. And I do think it's wonderful for a vision board, for creating something, for exploring something intellectually as well, is spending that Mars energy, powerfully in intellectual pursuits as well. I think that can be a great way of doing it. And the 16th, look, the Wednesday is still there, very much precise, and a very, very, very exact conjunction between that Mars and Jupiter. And on Thursday, the 15th, that's when Mercury goes back to Leo. So we do have a bit of a, on the 15th, there's going to be a grand trine, a very passing grand trine as well, between the moon, the sun, and Chiron. So that could be a lot of healing there. But again, it's fire, isn't it? So healing of the fire in us, of the need to express ourselves individually, of getting in touch with that sense of individuality that the Chiron in Aries and the North Node in Aries have been activating for us. I think that's something that we can get in touch with in a harmonious way on that Thursday. Is a wonderful grand trine for visions, for self-expression, for having fun, for being a bit more playful as well. And I also think that with Mercury going back to Leo, um, we're going to go back to thinking about Leonine things. It's like there's something about our self-expression, who we are, how authentic our communication is, that we need to revisit, that we need to review, we need to rethink and reassess as well. That Thursday, we also have Mars exact is square to Saturn as well. So again, that sense of delays and slowness that the Mars in Gemini might not be so comfortable with. But the energy is in the sky. So we might as well be aware of that and work with whatever obstacle comes our way and look at it and try to understand it as well. Try to see beyond the situation at hand, and also try to relax a little bit and know that things will unfold at a later stage. I think delays can also be reflected by Mercury retrograde. You want to solve something, you want to sign a contract, you want to move on with these things, but it's kind of not going to happen until Mercury goes direct as well. So just ride that wave and, try to do something creative or try to have some fun and dispel a little bit of that tension in a different way. And that's it. This is Friday. We're still navigating that Mars, Saturn, that Jupiter, Saturn. So I definitely think the big things this week is Mercury going back to Leo and the Jupiter, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn configuration. All right. So that's it. I'm gonna end this video here. Let me know how you're feeling, what are you doing, and also let me know where Saturn Jupiter conjoined in Aquarius in your chart. Where was that? What house was that? And how do you see that as a, bringing visions to reality, manifesting your visions, etc.? How do you see that? Can you see a connection to what's happening now as well? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'm wishing you a wonderful weekend, beautiful week as well, and that you can navigate these energies in the best way possible. I'm sending you lots of love, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye bye now.